Can we please also note that in this report that there were not safety concerns during visitation?
So I will make sure that I document all the necessary things that needs to go in the report.
You will what? I'm sorry.
I will document as normally as I do the things that need to go into the report.
So I have a question, I guess, before we end.
Go ahead, Max. We still have other topics, but go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question, maybe for Meredith, that I know is participating.
Go ahead, Mary.
I guess I had a question for you, Meredith, just to kind of put on the table. Do you know if Eric has any certifications for hypnosis, and is identifying hypnosis something a caseworker does?
You were asking Meredith about
Yes.
Eric's education?
Yeah.
Okay.
And whether or not identifying hypnosis is part of what a caseworker does.
I think Eric kind of answered that question, that he's not certified in hypnosis. I'm not sure what Meredith's availability. She's not answering. Maybe she's taking a call or something. Oh, go ahead, Meredith.
Sorry, so the question is, are caseworkers certified in hypnosis?
Yeah.
No, they're not. So, and I guess I'm concerned or like trying to figure out what the reason behind the question is.
For me, it was a statement that was made on oath, and for the most part, that's why I had to ask you whether or not a caseworker it has any special training to identify, I guess, hypnosis on a victim.
So no, we're not trained in that, but I guess I'm curious as to what Eric said that's leading you to believe that we're trained in hypnosis.
It was a statement, I believe, with also McDowell, around the time when I was still living there on Humboldt at the time. He had made a statement on oath saying that I had hypnotized Athena, and with at the time, he said he had the training or the qualifications to identify that. And ever since then, he's testified to it. There was a whole trial. Ever since then, I've been asking him if he's had certifications in hypnosis as to what he was saying in regards to what he was saying about me. And he's clarified more than once now that he has no certification in hypnosis, and that's why I had to ask you as well whether or not caseworkers are trained to be doing such a thing. So that's why.
So again, the answer is no, but caseworkers are certainly certified in the ability to determine child safety. So I don't know exactly where kind of the confusion with testimony may have come, but I guess I'm hoping, and I apologize for joining late, and maybe Danny's already given an update and signed a release of information for us to get information about what Danny's been working on in their treatment plan specific to mental health.
Yes, I believe Eric had mentioned it, but I was wondering, I had asked whether or not it was required of me. Is it a requirement of me to disclose that information to you now?
So yeah. Danny,
okay.
Go ahead, Haley. You can explain what's in the treatment plan.
Oh no, because I've been doing stuff. I just wanted to know if it was something I had to like on the spot give to you. That's all.
Yeah, so Danny, I think, so we've talked about releases of information for me before. I think we should revisit that conversation and also talk about releases for Eric. The release of information would just, allow Eric to verify that you are meeting with a mental health counselor and that it's going well. I will make sure the release is narrow so that, the counselor will not, disclose the specifics of what you're talking about. But it would be really beneficial to be able to kind of verify the treatment that you are doing, because again, I want you to get credit for what you're doing.
Right. I guess I'm just confused. Is there an emphasis that is it like treatment for me as a victim, or is it treatment for me as like something that needs to be rehabilitated or re-educated or something?
This is the mental health treatment that you're doing.
Right. I mean, because for the most part, I've been I've been squaring away what I could there on top of the legal competency. But as far as like my mental health and where it is I'm functioning, I feel like I've never been better because I don't need to go to IOP Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 1 all the time when I have no money and I'm applying for disability all at the same time. I just can't do that. So for me, that was a lot. Like it's all basic stuff. I wish some of the people attached to this case would learn, because maybe they wouldn't have flipped off and tried to raise a red flag and burn up the whole place like they did. So for me, I feel like I'm doing all right. I feel like I've been discriminated against. I feel like there's not a lot of qualifications for a lot of the statements made against my character that still need to be investigated. And on top of that, anything that's mandatory of me to state in such a way, I guess I'm otherwise unaware of, because, again, I've been trying to cooperate with the department as much as I could with their requirements of an individual in certain circumstances that I'm facing. That's why, if anything, I have to ask if it's required, because it's very personal information. But if you guys are requiring a generalized statement of, I've been here and I'm doing something, I can inquire as to the release of information of such records, but I won't go into specifics on what my treatment is. And for the most part, that's just a personal problem. If that bothers you, unless it's required, I would like to see the statute for the requirement.
And Kaylee, I hope that maybe you could sit down separately with Danny to go over the treatment plan and the part that talks about the release of information. But like Kaylee said, we don't need all the specifics. I think what we're just trying to get at is, are you addressing the mental health, which was part of the reason
Mental health.
that our case was open, exactly, and working with Mind Springs, and just making sure that things are safe for OLO. So it helps us guide our case by knowing what you're doing in treatment and that you're addressing and working through
what?
Whatever like larger goals you're working on in your therapy. We don't need the specifics.
Because for me, it's like, I can disclose my hopes and dreams to you people, but you guys already shitted on those. So for me, if you need specifics on me getting to a doctor and being seen as like, what it is I'm being seen for, that's still intrusive to me. But again, I guess Kaylee's the one that's going to have to redirect me to the specific requirements, and even then, those are completely asinine to read on paper from these circumstances, because if this case is only being addressed to what happened of October of last year, then you people obviously don't know what's been going on this whole time.
Okay. And I can assure you that we're not addressing just what happened then. We've been addressing, since the case opened, we're addressing all of those issues. But certainly we're talking about the specifics of your treatment and what you've been working on during this meeting.
Well, if anything, I appreciate the feedback. I'm just, for the most part, I'm disturbed by a lot of this, because someone had said being culturally different, or even culture is relevant for child welfare at one point in time, and the ombudsman didn't even see it. So And I guess that's because the people who are writing the records are writing it in favor for the employees of the state. So, including Athena, which is really disturbing. So, that's been a blockage for me on my side, getting the evidence, getting everything it takes to expose even people who are even on this call doing these things. So, and that's all I guess I can say, because it's like, I gotta wait around, I gotta participate and do all this crazy crap with you people, and it's insane.
All right. Haley?
I guess I was going to say, Eric, I think it might be helpful because, like, I mean, I know how we craft the releases and stuff, but I don't necessarily know, like, what you ask of providers. So I think it could be helpful for Danny to know kind of the level of specificity and, like, what sort of questions that you ask.
Sure. And it's not going to be very specific. I mean, and they wouldn't share that with me anyway. I just want general information as far as your participation level, what kind of broad things that you're working on, and, what kind of progress you've made. So, there would be no discussion about what you've shared with your therapist or anything like that, or just I kind of want to know what your goals are. And,
I don't want you to fucking know.
A piece about, your medications and if they are working for you and that kind of thing.
Why do you need to know anything about my medications and my goals?
Because that's part of your treatment plan, is to work on your mental health.
For what reason, though?
I have no way of validating that if I can't talk to your treatment providers.
But for what reason? Are you saying there's a problem?
Yeah, there's a problem.
Oh, so there's a problem. Okay, so what's the problem, Eric?
Well, we want to make sure, Danny, that you are a safe parent, and I know that you really struggled last year, and that's something that you had shared with us.
Right.
We want to make sure that you're doing better.
In what way?
My understanding, you were hospitalized for suicidal ideation. That is something that you shared with us.
Yeah.
And so
guess what I had on my mind too, Eric? I had the fact that you called me a hypnotist on my mind when I was going to do it.
Okay.
So I've been looking for the audio to prove that you said that shit. So whatever,
okay,
man.
So I want to be able to move this meeting forward and talk about the things on the agenda.
Makes
Sounds
me look like a
Haley's going to
fucking
have
freak.
more of a discussion about those releases